Monday, August 28th, 2023. I posted Anachronism 4058 to the Anachronisms blog. It's called Thirsty. I shall have water and seaweed. Hunger says to thirst. When I was born, I was very thirsty. This I've been told. Oh, when I was 3, I was given a treasure and told to build bold buildings out of it, these blocks, these alphabet blocks. I had a dad was an overachiever, or so he projected, so focused on me. And so every day I would play with these letters, made words, made wallops of blocks until architecturally gargantuan whopping mounds with infinite mouthed alphabetical sounds. I know that all this was not playing for Dad, a father who just barely earned his own high school diploma, had me at 3, most every morning, snagging the Southwest Times Record, our newspaper, just for the crossword, and often I'd rip out the funnies as well. Years later, he'd tell me he had not one earthly idea what to do with a son who would take to his bed all day long of a weekend, my nose nearly closed inside of a book for hour upon hour, as if nearly half blind. But what was I saying to start with? Of thirst. It's not that I forgot, I assure you. It's just, well, I was thinking how that single word has become so mischievous, so trendy, so off-kilter from how I had used it. And in this way, can often be found these days tucked into smarty-pants sentences, all cute-like by folks whose ages times 3 would perhaps approach mine. I guess she was thirsty, they'd say, and at first I'd get all crinkled and flummoxed. Oh, Grandpa. It just means she wanted some action. Now, action's a word that, too, has a few different meanings, but the action the youngsters were speaking of was something that I was quite familiar with, and a word I had used in that context on many an occasion. But thirst? Well, quite never. Nor once until right about today, or so thanks to giddily listening to these young folks chitter and chatter. That's all I was thinking of at the beginning of the skinny bit of silliness, so of course my mind wandered a bit, but just barely off. Lost track for a while, as I often am, within around the great wonder of words and how they've been such sheer joy for me, much more often than not ever since I was a wee kid of 3. They say that our languages are now evolving, but faster and faster, perhaps in an effort to keep up with the times. With this, I am fine, and while I might be out of the loop with most of a lot of this experimental evolution, I don't mind catching as much as I can before it's too late and I've lasted until I've no longer a mind, or else I'm quite simply flat out of time. Read to me some new words, but forget not the old ones. Youth is lovely company, to put it quite simply, and makes living seem longer and ageless for those you might deem out of touch sometimes.